Hello there. Upload 2 of the day. If you haven't caught my other video, go check it out. After this one, of course. Let's help the algorithm. But anyway, let's get straight into the meat and potatoes as we talk about Madeleine McCann. Who would have thought that we would still be talking about the Madeleine McCann case? Madeleine McCann went missing in 2007 in Praia da Luz. And it's now 2023, and we are talking about this case. It's insanity. But, look, what are we saying? So, for those of you who do know, you know why we're talking about it. There is another person who has come forward, and they're claiming that they believe that they are indeed Madeleine McCann. And we're not going to get deep into whys and the whats and the maybes, whatever in that. I did a video briefly yesterday touching on it. You can go and check that video out. Another one to check out if you haven't already. It's like promoting my own back catalogue. But what's happening now is that people close to the family are coming out and they're commenting on this. Now, this is off the back end of it seemingly been stated that the McCanns are up for providing DNA, so on and so forth, and getting behind sort of bringing this to a conclusion. I do feel that they have no choice at the end of the day. They've been publicly funded for over a decade at quite a high rate and going into the millions and millions of pounds. So if something like this comes up, I believe they have a duty to the public to show that they are willing to go down avenues. But look, someone close to the family has come out and said, look, this is causing pain. This is causing unnecessary upset and pain to Gerry and Kate. And look, I get that. I get it. But ultimately, as aforementioned, if you're going to take public funding and you're going to be consistently requesting that funding, then you have to understand that that comes with a responsibility to show that you are willing to go down these avenues. But is this person Madeleine McCann? What do I think? A lot of people have said to me, I've had an email saying, what do you think? What do you think? They've pointed out the fact that Julia looks very much like her biological mum. I believe it was Evil Exists who done a side-by-side comparison. And look, you cannot deny the uncanny resemblance between Julia and her biological mum. And Personally, I do not believe that this person is Madeleine McCann. Now, do I believe that she is doing what she's doing for malicious purposes? It's not for me to say. I don't believe that she is. But ultimately, I do not believe that she is Madeleine McCann. I have my own thoughts and feelings on the case. I do not believe that Madeleine McCann is out there. And I could be wrong. This is an unprofessional opinion based solely on the information that was out there and remains out there. Copious amounts of information surrounding this case that anybody, if you have the time, can look at. The evidence gathered by Amaral and his team back when the initial, case was open and they were doing their work. And it's a read. It's a read. And Amaral had his own thoughts and feelings over it. And if you follow this case, you'll know what they are. He always stood by the fact that he felt that the parents were involved. And, it's one of them where if anybody has dared say anything about them or against them, they have felt the force of the law. And you can't stop people having an opinion. You can stop people stating things as fact, as we've seen in the Idaho 4 case. If you go onto a platform, a public platform, and you make a statement and you are claiming that that is fact and you have proof of it, so on and so forth, then you are opening yourself up to a lawsuit. But you can't stop speculation. People can speculate all they want. I can sit here and say that I feel that Madeleine McCann had an accident inside the apartment in Praia de Luz, and wheels were set in motion to hide that, to hide what happened. And again, that's just, it could be complete and utterly dumbfounded, and it is purely my opinion based on nothing more than the evidence shown, as aforementioned, by Detective Amaral. You know, the fact that they were not in the property. They were out and they were drinking with the Tapper 7. The Tapper 7 don't speak. It's almost like there's this agreement of silence. But inside the property, there had been movements in regards to where specific pieces of furniture had resided and they'd been moved away. And one piece of furniture in particular was something that would have gained access to a window. I personally felt that it was plausible that Madeleine McCann had woken that night and she was trying to see whether she could see her mum and dad out of the window, and she fell and succumbed to an injury after hitting the tiled floor. We know that there was blood found by Eddie and Keela, the dogs in the property, and there was DNA underneath the tiles, seepage that had gone through the grout and to the underside of the tile. And that DNA sample was thrown out because they said it was contaminated, and so on and so forth. And we've also got varying accounts of, again, Eddie and Keela finding the cadaver scent and blood scents around various areas on that island. And look, it's not for me to make any other statement other than I do not feel that this person is Madeleine McCann. Do I feel that it would be amazing if she was? Yes, of course I do, because it would mean that Madeleine was alive. And, you know, I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to be wrong, and that, you know, Madeleine had been taken, she had been trafficked, and perhaps even though she weren't with her parents, she had been taken to someone and they had offered her a life. It does seem like Julia's life has had some trauma within that. So, you know, that is heartbreaking, and, you know, it's horrible to think. It's horrible to try and get your head round these things that she has potentially gone through. But look, Madeleine being alive is better than Madeleine not being alive. But for me, sadly, I just can't see it, purely based on what I've seen, what I've read. I just can't buy it. Let me know what you think. You did yesterday kindly on the other video. You know, there's other bits and pieces now out in the open. It might have spurned some of you who were a little bit unfamiliar with the case to look back into it. So for those of you who have done that, I'd like to know what your thoughts and feelings are around the case. It has been requested I do a live, and I think on Sunday when we do the iPhone giveaway live draw, we shall talk on this case more and go over it. It just makes a bit of a change from what we've been discussing recently. But that's me done, and I shall catch you all in the next one.